Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show, we're actually going to be effectively doing a review of the entire trip as a kind of like collective and stuff like that, just seeing what worked, what didn't work, the good things, the bad things and stuff like that. So for those of you who don't know, I flew from the UK to Belgium, mainly Brussels. Now obviously the temptation was to stay in Brussels itself, but decided to actually go and drive over towards Bruges, as it's like a historic city, really cool, very picturesque, very pretty, stuff like that, lots to see and do and stuff like that. And it was also quite near one of the other parks, which would have been absolutely miles away otherwise in terms of Plopsaland. So obviously went to the car, managed to get a pretty nice car. I'd recommend getting a sat-nav if you're going to Europe at any point. Roads very reasonable, not super busy, quite easy to navigate by the looks of it. I'd say Bruges itself is a lovely city. Really enjoyed my time there. I'd say getting to Plopsaland about 40 minutes away or so. There's also a tram which goes right there from the city centre as well, which is really cool, and it is pretty close to the coast, effectively, which is quite nice. The park itself, as I've said in my review, is really good, really happy with it. I say we had pretty lovely weather for the most part, a bit overclouded here and there, but not too bad. I say not too bad in terms of pricing. I was able to book tickets online before going, which I'd recommend. I say I wasn't, and I think car parking was like €6 as well. And stuff like that. Did have a slight problem with their lockers, which was a bit irritating, but you can always pop it back out to the car and getting back in isn't that difficult, in that it's not the world's biggest park. There's a few mazy sort of sections to it, but overall not too bad. Anyway, after that, obviously stayed the night or in Bruges and stuff like that, and then actually decided, because we were potentially going to have another little day trip around the city, that we'd actually managed to get a lot of what we wanted to do done, and we were literally going from there to Liège. So we actually decided to take a bit of a detour all the way up to Toverland, which was worked out fantastically. Again, it wasn't super expensive, which was brilliant. Really quiet day there as well, really quiet. And actually, Toverland's a sort of park where I was actually really happy with it. Troy's a really good ride. Venus is a really cool ride. Sadly, their booster bikes wasn't open when we were there. But for the most part, actually, generally such a nice little park. Really happy with it. Really enjoyed being there. Anyway, after that, continued to Liège. I will be honest, Liège was acting more of like a base because it was quite close to pretty much a couple of German parks, mainly Phantasialand and Movie Park, and was also not a trillion miles away in terms of, for one of the other parks, we were going to go to our base there, which was one of the Belgium. And also for the last park of Bobby Jagerland, we were going to go there on our day we were flying back as well, and it wasn't a particularly massive detour or anything like that. Liège is interesting, very hilly, and admittedly the hotel we stayed in was pretty nice, like a bread and breakfast sort of place, and there's some really good food places in and around it. I will say, possibly could be a little bit better. It's obviously not super touristy in that area, but yeah, it was pretty reasonable. Went first day to Phantasialand, nice easy drive into Germany. Found that obviously the park was as good as I remember it. Thought Fly was really good. Only real new credit I got there. Already done everything else. A little bit disappointed that things like Black Mamba and Telecom were closed. But overall, nothing too bad. Then went up to Movie Park, which was the first time I've ever been there as well. Lots of new parks on this trip, which was quite enjoyable. And I will be honest, Movie Park was just average. It was okay. There was some redeeming qualities. The water rides are good. Star Trek was actually quite good fun. And their Tomahawk kind of like pension ride was also pretty good as well. The downside is Bandit is awful. Their SLC is awful. The park itself kind of lacks loads of other stuff, and it was looking not terrible but not amazing. It was kind of had the feeling that maybe the park had been having a rough time of late, shall we say. It didn't seem dangerous or unsafe or anything like that. It just seemed that they kind of maybe needed to get back round to maybe reinvesting stuff into it. I say there was a lot to like. I say the water rides were great, and it was okay. I say probably one of the weakest parks I've been to for quite some time. Might be the worst park I've ever been to. I'm not sure though. Me and my friend were having a debate about it. And the worst thing at all about it is leaving the car park and stuff like that, where it was just extremely unorganised, extremely narrow. It's like, why parks don't have multiple exits and stuff like that, and just, you know, have multiple people doing it. And also, it wasn't super obvious where you buy tickets from or anything like that. Thankfully, managed to get it before a huge storm passed in, which is never good when you have like that sort of imminent danger of being absolutely soaked through. But yeah, thankfully managed to get out okay. The same could not be overly said for our first trip towards wannabe Belgium, which did curtail in a huge thunderstorm. Admittedly, we did know it was going to happen at some point during the day. And as always, a bit of a tip, always have a little look at the weather to see how likely rain is on a particular hour and stuff like that. Don't just see it as a forecast and be like, I'm not going. Or if you do go, always be prepared to maybe go, right, if this is a park we really want to go to, we'll have that as a priority. I know when we were in America, we actually moved things around each day potentially. So, like, for example, there was a huge thunderstorm coming in, we'd have that as a bit of a rest day and then go to the park then the day after, for example. And that's why it's so important to always prioritise, always see what's important. I mean, Bobby Egerland was almost completely sacrificed. Thankfully, we managed to get pretty much everything we wanted to do done at the park before the huge weather system came in and completely rained it out. We got soaked, by the way, in case you're wondering. We couldn't quite get back to the car in time. There was thunder, lightning, the lot. Not the most happy I've ever been at a theme park. But yeah, enjoyed my time before that moment anyway. And then, last but not least, we have Bobby Egerland, which was almost on the chopping board, but managed to get over there. And I will be honest, Bobby Egerland was a really cool park. There's a couple of few small issues. Finding the right entrances for some people is a little bit of a mystery. Typhoon did give my friend an absolutely banging headache. I don't think it was too bad, weirdly. But Fury was absolutely world class. Sledgehammer, I think it is called, was also pretty good. And then they have a couple of other little bits of attractions here and there. The monorail or transport system needs a massive uptake because, oh my god, is it dated. And in terms of food, they actually had Domino's, which I couldn't believe. I can't figure the last time I've been to a park with that. I mean, I can't wait to be corrected on that. But yeah, overall, and then managed to get back on the flight and fly home without any issue, really.